All right, let's get this next person up here. Only send a guest request if you did vote Trump. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
25.
Did you vote Trump?
Yes, I did.
Why so?
Well, I think he has
Iris, thank you for the $1.
good policies. I don't know.
Go policy. Name one.
Let's see. His tax reform.
Okay, you're not 25, dude.
Yeah, I am.
Yo, what's up? How old are you?
What's up, man? I'm 26.
All right, did you vote Trump?
I did.
Why so?
I just have a quick question, though, for real, for real. Like, I just want to ask you something.
Go ahead.
Like, on a serious note, my guy, I literally appreciate what y'all do. I find it funny, and I find it, like, pretty just entertaining to sit in here and watch. But on a real note, like, per night, how much do you make? This is me just being real with you. I just want to know.
Like $1 trillion from the DNC.
Nah, for real, though. Like, gifts and, like, people saying you're always like, hey, thanks for the $5 on Cash App or, like, $10 on Venmo or whatever. Like, bro, it's kind of inspiring. You making, like, $800 a night.
I make like $1 trillion, dude.
I feel you. I wish Dean was up here. I was gonna ask him to do a fucking magic trick. But that's what's up, bro. That's what's up. Man, like it really is inspiring. I wish I could sit here and do what you guys do and make over $500 a night. Like that shit really is like
It's not about money. It's about the message. The only reason people have come in here in the first place is because I created a platform on the basis of the fact that I was passionate.
Yeah, facts.
Like there was no platform to make money on when I first started on here on TikTok. If I would have gone to make money, I would have gone to one of the other big social media platforms that actually had mechanisms for monetization. I don't get paid for any of the views I get, right? The only way that you can make money on TikTok is like through people sending you money, which is not a reliable way of getting money, right? At all.
For
So
sure.
it's like it's only through luck in the position that I've had that I've been able to like make this into a job. Now that shit's threatened. I got a few months probably, right? I don't know what's gonna happen with this TikTok ban, but we'll see.
Nah, for sure. I respect your respect too, man. But at the end of the day, you're doing your thing. You know what I mean? Educate who you feel like you can educate. But let me ask one more thing, just in regard to what we were already talking about. How long has it been? Like since you blew up, like past year or whatever. I started seeing.
I want to make sure to get on to debates. I pushed leveled up, but like this is like a question you can ask for like Q&A stuff. But I've been doing this for years. I started getting a lot more viewers probably 2022 to 2023 after like Roe versus Wade was overturned.
That's what's up. All right, cool. Yeah, I just started seeing you guys a few months ago. So yeah. All right, man. I appreciate it. Later.
All right, I appreciate it. Okay, I guess that was just like a Q&A. All right, let's go on to the next person real quick. Only send a guest request if you did vote Trump. All right. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I just wanted to say I love you so much. I love what you do. You're amazing.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much. That's definitely a fetus. W fetus, though. W fetus. Can we get some W's for the fetus in the chat? By the way, everyone, I got probably another 40 minutes or so. If you want to support me or Matt, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, link trees in the bio, everyone. All right, it didn't accept this person. Let me try the next. All right, everyone. Only send a guest request if you did vote Trump. All right. The algorithm on this account is
you
better.
are becoming Matthew McConaughey.
I actually didn't mean to. I'm writing an essay and I'm watching on my computer. Sorry.
You're good. Don't worry.
W.
Yo, what's it called? The algorithm is better. I think it's because the following. The following difference isn't that much different between this account and the other one. I don't know why it's. Because like there's a following glitch still on this account. I guess it's just not 80%. So.
Yeah.
Yo, Lisa, thank you so much. Appreciate the galaxy. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Okay, hold up.
Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 23.
Did you vote Trump?
No, but I do have a question. It's about politics.
I'm sorry. I did say I was going to join Harry later, but then my girlfriend said that she's going to be coming here. Appreciate the galaxy. Thank you so much. So, then I'm not going to do that so that I can see my girlfriend. Yeah. Yes. I thought my girlfriend was busy all today. That's what she told me at least before. So
Damn.
I got a surprise. I'll get to see her.
Surprise, surprise.
Appreciate the head mustache. Thank you so much, big country. Thank you. Yeah, Muscles. Did you vote Trump?
Yes, I did.
Why so?
Particularly on trade and immigration, specifically because I'm a software developer, and his kind of limiting his like restrictive immigration policy in terms of like my career was very beneficial during the 2016 to 2019 period. So like regarding the HB1
You
visas,
said 2016 through 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2016 Obama was president. So what does that have to do with Trump?
Oh, I mean, like during his presidency, I'm just saying like he limited the HB1 visas.
Okay, so
wait, so you're saying? Oh, sorry, bro.
Go ahead, Matt.
No, so you're saying that we should have a restrictive immigration policy because your industry was benefited and that helped you particularly. So you're willing to say, fuck all these other people. I want to make sure that I'm okay.
No, I'm saying that Americans should generally be put first in terms of like immigration policy and how it affects, their job prospects, their career prospects. So like if we have software developers here, we should prioritize those instead of, bringing people from foreign countries. Because that's like
why is your company hiring those from other countries?
Because it's cheaper.
Wait, do they have to pay them the same? Are they here in the United States?
Yeah, they bring them in on HB1 visas, so they come here.
Well, and they're paying them less.
Yes, less than the industry average. So their wages are lower than the average.
Well, that sounds like your company is taking advantage of migration.
Yes, it is. So the government should stop them from doing that and have restrictive immigration.
Yeah, no, they shouldn't restrict the people coming in trying to find a better life. They should restrict the company from doing that. They should mandate that the company pay them a fair wage.
I mean, I disagree. I just think we should prioritize Americans first. And I mean, like, expecting them to just like determine what the fair wage should be, like by the government. I don't trust the government to do that. Also, like, if you have an oversupply of labor, you're just going to get like lower wages by that nature. So, or you have a higher supply.
Yeah, so
sure,
the reason why you wouldn't necessarily expect to see lower levels of supply is because there's a minimum wage.
No, I just think this is all.
I meant high. The reason why you wouldn't see specifically lower levels of prices is because they can't decrease the demand any lower than. Not decrease. They can't take a wage any lower than the minimum wage, so they can't bring down the wage lower than the minimum wage, if that makes sense.
I mean, well, software developers don't make minimum wage, so.
Oh, sorry, you're just referencing for software engineers? Okay, so yeah, of course, if there's a higher supply, you want less software engineers in the country?
No, I want companies to have to pay what the market rate is for Americans and prioritize Americans rather than bring in foreign agents for the foreign people for the benefit of corporations.
Why not market, and why not do it for market? So that if they want to get people from other countries, that's fine.
Because we should put Americans first. That's why.
Okay, so you say put Americans first, but they are Americans if they're coming to the United States and they're working here. And they're
they're on HB1 visas, so they're not Americans. They're not even like permanent.
Isn't it H1B?
HB1.
That's employment sponsored. That's employment sponsored.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's still illegal. It's still legal, right?
I never said it wasn't illegal. I said it was.
He's saying that because the company can bring them in and charge them less, he would rather that they just restrict the immigration altogether and just hire Americans. My point is that why are they going to get these individuals?
Why doesn't he just stop immigration?
Are they hiring? Well, why are they hiring these people to begin with? Because they're cheaper, but they have the same skills.
Yes, because they're willing to work for less because they come from.
But they have the same skills.
That's just how capitalism works. Like he's just mad capitalism works that way.
Well, I didn't say I was a complete capitalist, or I didn't say that.
The best collaboration. Thank you so much. Thank you.
America first, like nationalists generally aren't like the most pro-capitalist. I mean, your idea of a Republican is to be like Reagan. So.
Okay, so you're not like pro-capitalist.
I'm not like a complete pro-capitalist. I mean, I think if you like talk to a lot of Americans.
Thank you, Jack, for $2. Thank you so much.
Necessarily, like all in on capitalism. So
But I'm still confused as to why you're saying that we should restrict those people wanting to come into the United States to have a better living instead of just restricting the company from exploiting these people. Like, why not just mandate that the company can't do this, and then we allow the H-1B visas to then compete with the Americans, and then whoever is the best candidate, they get the job.
Because it's just much easier to prioritize.
You're amazing. Thank you so much, Breen.
It's just much easier to prioritize Americans. I think that's what we should be doing. Like, that's why. I just don't agree.
Yeah, but if you have like one American who's not as qualified as someone who has a visa, right? Why should the American get priority when the person that has the visa has more skills?
Well, generally, it's not really like a skill thing. It's more of they're willing to work for cheaper. Generally, we have around the same skills. The companies just don't want to pay like what they would have to pay without the immigration. But like I'm saying that we should prioritize like the American because like that's kind of what a country does. It prioritizes its citizens before any foreign nationals.
Well, the government does that, not a company. They can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, so I'm saying the government should do that. The government should prioritize its citizens.
It's about, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you so much.
I don't understand how them restricting visas for skilled workers coming into the country is going to prioritize Americans, because we need people from other countries who are more skilled than some Americans. We want to have a non-brain drain type of thing. So we want to bring in people because those people may not just come to the United States. Instead, they'll go to Canada or they'll go to the UK or something, and they'll get their expertise. We want their expertise.
I mean, it's not about like expertise. It's not like we.
It is. So what you're not understanding is that we needed to increase our labor force if we want to be able to continue things like Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security and programs that we think that are really good. Right? We have to be able to fund them. And the issue is that we don't have a mechanism to fund them in the long run. Right, in that the labor force participation rate going up, because it is the case that we have immigration and immigrants typically have a higher labor force participation rate, right? That indicates specifically that we're going to have a more productive workforce to be able to pay for those different types of services to continue on so that they don't lead into insolvency.
I mean, I don't think necessarily it's more productive. I just think it's like you just get the workers for cheaper. So I don't like... It is
more productive. More people creates a system in which is more productive. That's just a fact.
I mean,
but also too, we're not talking about just your industry, because Trump wouldn't, for example, he wouldn't just restrict HB1 visas for your industry. He would do it all across the board. So I'm saying, why should the United States be brain drained with skilled workers just because it benefited your one industry? Because that would not benefit all the other industries. That would benefit the people of the United States.
I mean, I wouldn't really particularly characterize us as brain drained right now. We have like tons and tons of comp sci grads coming to the market every year. So I don't know if I would characterize as brain drains. Like, plus, there's tons of people.
Once again, you're focusing only on your industry. I'm looking at all industries. There are some industries that get their primary talent from other countries, right? I'm saying, why should those industries suffer, and therefore, by extension, those Americans suffer just because your industry won't do as well?
Well, the prompt was, why do you support Trump? So I was answering that question.
Okay, but my contention back to the whole beginning was that's a very selfish way to look at it, because you're saying, well, I want to prioritize Americans, but really you're not saying that. You're saying, I want to prioritize myself.
Well, generally people vote.
That's what you're going to say.
Generally, people vote in their own self-interest. So, I mean,
well, that's not true. Well, yeah, I mean that's true to some extent, but I would say the 74 million Americans who voted for VP Harris, they voted for her because she was going to make their life better and other people's lives better. Right? They didn't vote for her just because they make their own lives better. Yes, many people voted to make their own lives better, but I voted for her because she may not make my life better, like within the short term, but she definitely would make a lot of people that I know's lives better.
I don't think people vote for a candidate that will make other people's lives better, but make their own life worse. So,
well, she's not going to make my life worse, but I said that she may not make my life better. So my life would probably stay the same. But I know a lot of people whose lives would get better under her presidency.
I mean, I just don't buy the really back to your argument. I really don't buy the whole brain drain argument. I just think that companies are really going to try to get the cheapest labor possible. And I don't think that's always beneficial to like the American citizen. I think like overcrowding us and like giving them an oversupply of labor is not necessarily going to lead to a high standard of living.
Once again, that may be true, but my point is that we should focus on the behavior of the company rather than just restricting people from coming to this country, because I don't want to restrict people that are very skilled and that will contribute to the economic growth of this country just because some companies are going to exploit them. I would rather prevent the exploitation rather than prevent them from coming in.
Well, I mean, like, even if you do that, then there's just going to be a shortage of jobs because, like, there's only so many jobs, like, that are going to be available for any particular industry.
Well, yeah, that's why it's a skilled job, right? It's jobs that are in demand and that we need to be filled. I mean, it's not just, like, jobs that are out there, but there's also unskilled jobs that we need people to come into, people that do jobs that most Americans just won't do.
I don't agree. Right? I don't agree with that argument that Americans won't do them. I just think those jobs don't pay enough, and I think they're like.
I don't think there's no, I'm sorry. I don't think there's any amount of money that is going to get somebody to wake up at 4 a.m., go to a field, and pick broccoli for like 12 hours. I don't think there's. I think we Americans are spoiled, and we are not going to tolerate. There's no amount of money that would do that.
So the way that I look at it is that if you reduce the productive capacity of the economy, you're actually going to cause prices to go up because you're reducing the productive capacity of our overall economy, right? Which decreases supply.
I mean, if you have like an oversaturation in a particular field, I don't think you're getting any more productive by adding more people there. Anyway.
I think. Wait, you say that there's an oversaturation within a particular field. How do you demonstrate that there's an oversaturation? Isn't that the market that would evaluate that?
Well, right now, given the number of unemployed CS grads.
Okay, so you're saying only restrict CS specialists?
No, I'm saying like I'm just like sticking with this one example where we have.
Okay, well then, if you want to stick with the example, then you have to specifically argue that when it is the case that these particular criteria aren't met, right? Then you would be okay with them coming to the country. Otherwise, it's some other factor that you want to limit people off of. Limit people from coming to the country on the basis of.
No, I mean, yeah, I would be for, immigration from other countries for this particular field if it were the case that, we like, every CS grad was making like $500K. And then in that case, yeah, I'd be like, okay, yeah, we can bring more people over. That would be a situation. I didn't say there was no limit. I'm saying given the way it is right now and given the way it's, been for a while, that, it really ought to be like restrictive.
Okay, so you say it ought to be restrictive. What reason do you say it should be restrictive?
Because of like the state of the market, and given with the CS grads and people in the field, people who have like trouble getting employment, all that.
So okay, you could say there's trouble with employment within any respect. Also, how do you know that this won't make the labor force worse off?
Well, I mean, because it made it better off during Trump's term when he restricted the HP-1 visas. It kind of led to the greatest bull run
you'd have to give me evidence of that.
Well, there was like you can go look up like number of HP-1 visas issued and renewed during his term, and it was like a lot less than previous years during Obama. This also correlates with like extremely high developer salaries. I mean, I remember people like were graduating school were getting.
You'd have to indicate to me that the trend in it specifically getting worse for employment is predicated off the fact that there's more people.
You're saying I have to predicate that.
I'm saying it's probably related to the fact that more people were told to go within this field rather than it being predicated off of immigrants.
No, it's like two things can be true at the same time. So, like the 2007, 2019, developer salaries when the HP-1 visas were kind of really restricted. The developer salary was really high. Then of course, during that time, during the build up to that, up till now,
okay,
a lot of people
I have to stop you for a second. I
would just like to finish my point before getting into
No, you can't, because someone just sent me a thing that's on your page that is clearly anti-Semitic. Clearly. Birds and their specialized beaks, seeds, nuts, nectar, and then number 4 says destabilize, destroy, and ruin countries, and it has a huge exaggerated nose.
What are you referencing specifically? Like a what?
Birds and their specialized beaks. You like something that is clearly anti-Semitic. Like,
So now we're just
Parker, you look at this, it is clearly anti-Semitic.
so we just go through people's pages while they debate and look at stuff they liked.
No, it's because we don't harbor people who are blatantly racist, blatantly anti-Semitic.
Yeah,
You
that's
like
crazy.
something that is blatantly anti-Semitic.
Why don't you address
who are
address that? Like, why don't you address that, Muscles? Why don't you act like
I
that's? Why
really
don't you
hope that
acknowledge
this
the
was
bad
like
things?
the main topic conversation. Is not really why I came on here. So
Okay, I don't care if it's not why you came up here.
You said,
you're
like, the
either going to get
process is why
kicked
you
from the
support-
live or you're going to address this.
I'll just leave voluntarily then, because
Okay. Get the fuck out, you weirdo.
Yeah, like chat, like I didn't find it. Somebody sent it to me, and it's clear from looking at it that it's anti-Semitic. Like it's plain as day.
All right, let's get this next person up here. All right. Give it a second, everyone. We'll get someone up here. I got probably 20 or so minutes left on the live, everyone. If you want to support me or Matt, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, link trees in the bio, everyone. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Oh, shit. I'm sorry. I actually didn't mean to join this. I was just scrolling through.
You're good.
But real quick.
Go ahead.
I've actually, now that I'm remembering, Parker, I've actually been on one of your things, and I just wanted to say, again, I respect what you do. I think it's cool that someone your age puts theirself out on social media each day. I think, like, in today's day and age, there's a lot of hate and a lot of hateful people that it makes it hard to, like, go out on social media, I feel like, every day, and it shows good work ethic. So anyways, my bad for joining.
No, I appreciate you coming up. Have a good day. Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you did vote Trump. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
31.
Did you vote Trump?
I didn't. I just wanted a moment of silence.
That's funny. Yeah, what's up? How old are you?
I am in there.
Yeah, how old are you?
Hey, what's up?
I'm in my 40s.
Okay.
Nice.
Why did you vote Trump?
I guess the main difference I voted Trump was the last 4 years. I kind of had two. Basically the cost of living has doubled in the last 4 years. That was a huge factor. Interest rates. I know a lot of that was also from the COVID. From the pandemic. But there was also a lot of things that was done, sending money to aid to foreign countries and not helping Americans. That was a big factor.
How did they cause prices to go up?
Well, it's just the deficit. If you got a checkbook and you're sending money when you can't even clear the debt that you have, it's going to cause.
Well, Trump signed off on more debt-related spending. Did you know that?
Did you know that he also has a better plan to get rid of debt than we've seen in the last 4 years?
What's his plan?
Well, I mean, there's the tariff plan that's still in place by the Democrats.
That decreases. That's not actually like really good for.
Well, that's theory. Yeah,
So,
and
listen, that's not actually really good for like reducing debts, because specifically you're shifting the burden of taxes from people who are rich to people who are lower income. And it also you reduce the expected revenue when you increase a tariff.
That's not exactly true. If that's true, then why did Harris keep them in effect? Why did the Biden administration keep them in effect, not Harris?
That's different than the universal tariffs Trump is advocating for.
So the tariffs that I know of specifically was on EVs, which makes sense. I'm not against tariffs on like EVs from China.
Right. Yeah. So I was just giving that as one example of ways of knocking down the deficit. You cannot agree that if Americans are struggling right now, sending over $140 billion to a foreign country right now is the answer for Americans. And I think a lot of Americans related on that. And that's why he won the popular vote and the electoral college vote. It's shown that Americans are thinking that the last 4 years wasn't good for them. And that's, I honestly think that's one of the main reasons he won this election. It was looking, and on top of that, just the whole way it started. Here you have a candidate that the Americans didn't even vote for in the primaries. The whole way that rolled out.
80% of the Democratic Party was satisfied with her being the nominee. People attributed inflation to the incumbent president. That's why.
Well,
I don't know why you're attributing it to some other.
But don't they always do that? They always pass the puck to it was the previous president. Every president candidate does that. Whether it's Obama with Bush, Trump and Obama, Biden and Trump, they all do that. It's always pointing the blame. And I think Americans.
What do you mean? Wait, all do what?
They all point the bad times. The reason we're having bad times is because the policies of the last president. But the reason
can point to the specific policies that would have caused that. If you can't,
there's so many different things that happened with Obama in 2008 when we had the housing crash. With the mortgage crash. But he blamed that on inheriting Bush's debt. And then
wait, you understand the housing crash? The housing crash. He didn't just blame it on Bush.
Well, they blamed it on a lot of things. I'm just giving
because there are real economic reasons.
So, are you saying that presidents don't blame the former presidents? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying it is the case that they do in some circumstances, but provide me like the point that you're referencing.
I'm just stating a fact that it seems that whenever it comes to negative comments about anything, they always push it to the former president's. They push.
It's not always, definitely not always, but they do in a lot of circumstances. Sure.
Wait, do you disagree that Joe Biden came into the White House with a struggling economy because of the way that Donald Trump handled the pandemic?
Well, that's what's the pandemic was insane because I remember all of it, and the way it even started with them saying, denying where it came from, denying what it was, shutting down America, literally kind of sabotaging the economy in an election year. It's crazy how.
What are you talking about? You're such a. What do you mean, bro?
What do you mean?
He's bringing up the fact. He's bringing up the fact that Donald Trump didn't handle it well.
It's not just.
Yeah, you're right.
But it's not just he didn't handle it well. The whole how else would. It really just seems like before the pandemic happened, America was literally, you talked about employment rates were higher than ever. Interest rates were lower than ever. That's the first point. I just made two valid points that before
what was the first point. Sorry, I apologize.
Before the pandemic happened, the employment rate was lower than low. And so
unemployment was lower under the Biden-Harris administration.
Was it lower than Trump pre-pandemic?
Yes.
What was the number?
3.4%.
And what was it during the Harris administration or Biden administration?
3.4 under the Biden-Harris administration. Under the Trump administration, it was 3.5.
And that's pre-pandemic 3.5.
Yes, so that's the lowest point under Trump's administration.
Okay, lowest point. So they're basically dead even.
Relatively close.
Okay, so then what about the interest rates?
Real interest rates relate to the Federal Reserve. It has nothing to do with the president.
No, absolutely, it has to do with the policy.
How does it have to do with the president?
What do you mean? Because the president can control where our money goes.
Okay, but what do they do that causes that? Yeah, like what?
Well, because what the federal
not with the interest rate. Jada, thank you for the roses. So you're saying that because they cause inflation, then the Federal Reserve responds to that?
I'm saying policy definitely affects economy. Does it not?
Yes, duh. No.
Okay,
duh.
and so the economy answers. And so the economy answers right by adjusting the inflation rate. It's a trickle down. It's not a
no. The inflation rate is not adjusted. No, Parker's the economist here, so I'll let him talk. But no, the inflation rate is not like marked up and down by like companies. That's not how the inflation works.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that policy affects the economy, and therefore the economy has an effect on the interest rate and the inflation with the Federal Reserve. Does it not? They're all combined. It's not one.
So if you cause inflation could then change whether or not like the Federal Reserve addresses it. Of course, right?
Exactly.
But what you're not understanding is that you have no argument that the Biden-Harris administration caused inflation. What's your argument?
Okay, so did their policies not affect inflation? Did their policies not affect the economy?
What policy caused inflation? Tell me.
Overprinting of money and sending money to foreign countries?
There was more printing of money that happened under Trump's administration Secondly, if you look at M2 money supply and M1. Secondly, if you want to relate to this, what you're not understanding is that Donald Trump added more debt-related spending. He signed off on more debt-related spending in terms of 8.4 trillion overall, 4.8 trillion non-COVID related. For the Biden-Harris administration, 4.3 trillion overall, 2.2 trillion non-COVID related.
How much did so what was the GDP when he was office, and what's the deficit when he was in office versus now?
So when you have to reference what they signed into law, you can't reference just what the debt happened under the administration was, is because they signed off on debt-related spending that goes later on. So, for example, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is still in effect, yet it's under this administration.
It's still and what is the deficit? How much has it gone up during their last 4 years and their control, also in the House and Senate for the beginning of it, like when they could really change law? Why didn't they change law? There's so many. It's a dog and pony show, and America saw the dog and pony show, and that's why he won the popular vote. I'm not saying this. That's literally why America voted that way.
Say that one more time. Sorry.
I'm saying that people see the dog and pony show. They see these like nobody is. We are better off now than we were, or not now. We're worse off now than we were 4 years ago.
According to what macro indicator?
I'm according that to my own life.
Okay, that's just you. That's just
no.
you.
I'm going to give you examples.
If you look at real median wages are higher right now than quarter 4 2019. Real GDP is higher now.
Hold on. I own a
I'm better off now.
How are you? How are you better off now? Explain to me how.
Yeah.
That is okay. So, but you didn't have that before. You
Exactly. That's why you can't just look at it from what's happening to you.
But
you got to be a little bit more fucking smart than that.
No, listen, I'm older than you, and let me just speak. I'm older than you, and I've gone through. I've bought several houses. I've owned a business, and I could tell you from my perspective, not just mine, but the people we employ, the businesses we work with, and the economy that we're in, and we're in a great economy. Where I live is a great economy, and it's my houses. 4 years ago, I sold my house for I bought it for $255, sold it for $350, and now that same house is going for $450. But the interest rate is double. So, like, it's for people that are buying and purchasing property and trying to grow their life at that stage. It's horrible. It's the worst time it's ever been.
I agree with you. No, I agree with you. But Donald Trump won't make that better. That's the problem.
If the interest rates come down and the deficit comes down and more Americans have jobs,
interest rates relate to the Federal Reserve. Deficit isn't going to go down. Trump is worse for it.
You can't give credit. We just explained that policy affects economy.
Okay.
This guy's not listening.
Let's do it this way.
I am listening.
I will give you two concrete examples about how Donald Trump's policies are going to make housing prices either not go down or actually go higher. Okay. Number one, he's going to tariff lumber coming in from Canada. That's our primary source to build houses. Two, he wants to deport the very people who are in the construction industry who build our houses. So we're going to be losing. We're going to have higher prices for lumber, and we're going to have a lower workforce to actually build those houses. So those two things together, can make higher prices.
So by having all those things that he hasn't changed yet, how come the prices are the highest they've ever been?
Because of COVID.
But what do you mean?
Because of the effects of COVID. Because if you look at COVID during 2020, the prices of houses was at an all-time low. So was interest rates. It was just low, right? But then, as soon as it started coming back, as soon as inflation started to rise and all that stuff happened, then you started seeing all of those price rises go along with it. That's exactly what happened with everything else.
So how can we not? How could we have not made Americans' lives better by stimulating instead of sending all the billions of dollars of foreign aid, pump that back into our economy?
Do you know what percentage of the federal budget went to Ukraine?
145 billion is quite a bit. As far as
it's this 1.5% of the entire federal budget.
That's great.
Went to Ukraine.
Well, that's too much. If we're in the red right now in America, like how come America doesn't hold itself accountable like it holds you and I when it comes to paying our bills and our taxes? You know, if you're late on a payment, they take it, but America can keep being in the red. And who's going to pay for that? It's going to be y'all's generation and your kids' generation. Like the bleeding has to stop, and you can't stop the bleeding by sending money out the window.
I'm not disagreeing with you that debt may be like an issue. I'm not like disagreeing with that. But what I'm saying is that if you care about debt, there are other places to like look for other than the state of Ukraine. We give more as a percentage of economic and military money to the state of Israel than we do to like Ukraine. I don't hear many people.
Of course, I love y'all so much. Have a fantastic night, everyone. Tomorrow I'll be back on this account, everyone. So follow me here if you have not already.